Is fear quietly running your life, making choices for you without even asking? You wake up every day thinking you are in control, but deep down anxiety whispers, hesitation lingers, and doubt clouds your every decision. Today we are going to unpack the lesser-known ways fear manipulates your thoughts, your habits, and even your very sense of self. By the end of this journey, you will know exactly how to reclaim your mind, overcome anxiety, and take back the power that has always been yours. Fear is more than just an emotion. It is a survival mechanism. It is that which kept our ancestors alive in the face of real, life-threatening dangers. Today, however, fear doesn't normally protect us. It limits us. In our minds, it disguises itself as self-doubt and procrastination and the endless what-ifs that keep us from acting. You are standing at the edge of something great, an opportunity, a dream, a life-altering decision, and suddenly, an invisible force restrains you. That invisible force, fear. It tells you are not ready, not strong enough, not worthy. And if you don't learn how to confront it, it will quietly control everything that you do. Awareness is the first step towards breaking free. Recognize the patterns that fear creates in your life. Notice when it makes you avoid risk, delay actions, or even doubt your capabilities. Awareness is the flashlight in the dark. You can't fight what you can't see. On SACE, you start seeing fear for what it really is. You can begin the work of untangling yourself from its grip. And that is what we're about to do. Fear doesn't always roar sometimes. It whispers. It conceals itself in subtle ways, making you hesitate to speak up, avoid challenges, or settle for less than you are capable of. You might not even realize how often it influences your decisions. It is in the extra hours you spend overthinking, the opportunities you let slip by, and the dreams you quietly abandon. One of the most hazardous forms of fear out there is the fear of failure. It convinces you that trying and failing is worse than not trying at all. But here's the truth. Failure is not your enemy. Inaction is every moment you let fear dictate your choices is a moment stolen from your potential now. To begin breaking free, start small. Identify one area where fear is quietly controlling you. Maybe it is speaking in public, asking for a raise, or starting that one project you have been putting off. Whatever that one thing is, commit to taking one courageous action today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. That small action is the spark. It will be uncomfortable. It will be scary. But each time you act despite the fear, you tell your mind a little something. You are stronger than you think, and fear doesn't get to run the show for you. We will next discuss the science of fear, how it hijacks your brain, and how understanding that is the key to breaking free. To be truly free from fear, you have to understand what is going on in your brain whenever your fear takes hold. It revolves around the amygdala, the small almond-shaped part of your brain that's responsible for threat detection. When it detects danger, whether actual or imaginary, it triggers either a fight, flight, or freeze response. The heart races, the muscles tense, and the mind fixates on avoiding pain. This is the reaction that helped your ancestors survive. In modern times, it usually works against you. The amygdala does not differentiate between a lion in the wild and fear of public speaking. It triggers the same response. That is why fear can feel so paralyzing even when there is no real threat. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods your body in such moments, clouds judgment, and makes rational thinking nearly impossible. Your mind is a prison of what-ifs and catastrophic thinking, but here is where it gets empowering. By training the mind, you are able to take back control. You can train the brain to understand that perceived threats are not always real threats. The first tools are mindfulness and awareness. Notice when fear arises, name it, say to yourself, this is fear. This is my brain reacting, not reality. Naming the fear diminishes the power of the amygdala and engages the prefrontal cortex, the reasoning and decision-making part of the brain next. We will look at some strategies to rewiring the brain so that fear becomes not a cage but a signal to you, and you start taking back that life you've been keeping yourself from. Now that you understand how fear hijacks your brain, it is time for action. The first step is called exposure, willingly and deliberately facing small fears. It might be speaking up in a meeting, approaching someone new, or trying out a new skill. Every small victory trains your amygdala that fear is an opportunity, not a threat. The second approach is visualization. Shut your eyes and clearly visualize yourself facing those things that make you afraid. Visualize yourself being calm, confident, and successful. Your brain has a hard time distinguishing between imagined and real experiences. So repeated visualization rewires neural pathways to make real-life action much less intimidating. Third, practice controlled breathing. Fearful situations commonly provoke fast and shallow breaths that heighten anxiety levels. Slow, deep breathing can engage the parasympathetic nervous system to provide the body with a safety signal. Try using the 4 to 7 -8 technique to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, then exhale for 8. Your body starts responding with calmness and your mind gains clarity. Finally, adopt a fear journal. Write down what scares you, why it scares you, and the possible outcomes if the fear comes true. This exercise transforms abstract anxiety into tangible problems you can tackle systematically. Over time, your mind stops overreacting, and fear loses its grip. Exposure, coupled with visualization, breathing, and journaling actually rewires your brain. You are no longer controlled by fear. Instead, it becomes a guide or compass that shows where growth lies. Now that you have learned to manage fear, it is time to transform fear into power. Fear, if understood and harnessed, can easily become one's best motivator. What that takes, though, is reframing. Instead of seeing it as a threat, see it as information, an indication of what you value the most in life. Start by identifying your core fears. What fears seem to keep coming up in your life? Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. Once identified, ask yourself, what lessons can I learn from this fear? How can it guide me toward growth? This shift from avoidance to curiosity rewires your mind to see challenges as opportunities. Next, practice incremental risk-taking. Each time you take a small step out of your comfort zone, your mental toughness grows stronger. It could be giving a speech, starting a new project, or reaching out to someone you admire. The more you act in spite of the fear, the less power it holds over you. Another powerful tool involves self-talk. Replace thoughts such as, I can't do this, with affirmations. I am capable of learning and adapting. Positive self-talk, practiced relentlessly, rewires neural patterns and builds inner confidence. Finally, put yourself in an enabling environment. Surround yourself with people who inspire courage, provide opportunities for constructive feedback, and encourage growth. Social reinforcement amplifies your efforts to make fearless action more natural. By reframing fear, taking calculated risks, practicing empowering self-talk, and cultivating a supportive environment, fear becomes not the controlling force, but a source of strength. No longer are you captive to your mind, rather, you are its master.